Hello everyone, the new LEGO Fan 14 here, and it is time to rise. It's finally time for Black Panther Wakanda Forever. Now, this is a movie review I've had for a while in the works, but I was finally able to finish it and release it. So, before we begin to talk about this movie, all I gotta say is that there are spoilers for this movie. So if you haven't seen it, I literally highly recommend watching it in theaters and then coming back to this video. So if you've seen the movie already, well, let's continue. Now, I'll be honest. I wasn't really sure what to expect for Black Panther Wakanda Forever. And especially, I didn't really know what to expect from Marvel. Especially with their infamous Phase 4, seeing as how the introduction of the Disney Plus shows and the fact that 2020, with the pandemic, we basically had no Marvel productions. It was basically a dead year for Marvel. It meant that they, of course, had to bombard us with as much of the content they had from 2020 and the ones that they already had planned for 2021. That's why we've gotten like 3 to 4 movies each year. Like in 2021, we got their Disney Plus shows, WandaVision, Falcon and the Winter Soldier, Loki, their first anime project, What If. We also got the movies, of course, with Black Widow, which was the only one with this premiere access thing Disney tried to do with Disney Plus, charging $30 extra apart from your Disney Plus subscription in order to watch the movie. They did the same thing for Raya and the Last Dragon. I believe Cruella and the last film was Jungle Cruise. Of course, then we got stuff like Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings, Eternals. Of course, the now officially billion-dollar movie Spider-Man No Way Home practically was probably even right now going to be considered the best Phase 4 Marvel film. And of course, we gotta talk about this year, 2022, probably Marvel's messiest year, because we haven't got a lot of content. Like, we got Moon Knight, Miss Marvel, She-Hulk, and, well, they're still working on a lot more stuff. We already also have Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, Thor, Love and Thunder, and of course, now this one, Black Panther Wakanda Forever. The plan was next film to be the Marvels, I believe. And even now, in 2023, you have like a ton of projects still. They still have so much stuff going on, like Ant-Man and the Wasp, Quantumania, the Marvels, the sequel to Captain Marvel, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, then I still can't wait for Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. And even with the shows, like we know What If is getting a second season, Loki is getting a second season. Of course, we're getting so much more stuff. We already know that they're already playing their next big Infinity War type event with Avengers Secret Wars and Kang Dynasty, and even in their shows, like we know they're rebooting the classic X-Men from 1997, and the craziest part, they're even moving on with a Deadpool 3 ever since Disney purchased 20th Century Fox. Now officially having Deadpool in the MCU and bringing back Hugh Jackman as Wolverine, and oh. Yeah, I got tired of talking about so much of Marvel's going on. And I think here's where it's great and bad at the same time, because it's great for us, the fans, and even if I haven't really shown it much, I am a huge Marvel fan. But the reason why I haven't really talked about it because, well, Marvel hasn't really given that much for me to talk about. I don't really like magic in films and stuff like that, but I think the problem here comes where they've been bombarding with so much, and now that we're the character like Tony Stark or Captain America are now gone, and basically the tech geniuses are gone. Well, they gotta start introducing a lot of magic, so that's why I skipped out a lot of their films. The only other film I saw is Eternals, and that's where I felt I think Marvel has lost their way on where they're going. Like, not trying to throw hate Eternals, it's just it felt so odd to me. Like, it didn't even feel like an MCU. Felt like an artistic film Marvel was trying to sell as an MCU film. But what about Wakanda Forever? Like, I got so caught up with everything Marvel is going on that I forgot to talk about the movie itself, Wakanda Forever. Well, it felt like things were all against Wakanda Forever as well. Like, the fact that this one the MCU Phase 4 had to be cut short, and this is the last Phase 4 film, and Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania's Phase 5, of course, leaves a lot to expect from Wakanda Forever. At the same time, of course, the most tragic thing that happened, the passing of Chadwick Boseman. Like, this is definitely a real tragedy. And it's sad to know that Marvel was already having so much planned for him, but he simply passed away without really, well, yeah, it gets pretty sad. I'm starting to get to some really sad territory. The point is that already Chadwick Boseman passing was a tragedy, and of course, how is this going to affect Wakanda Forever? It was still his movie. It's called Black Panther. And when Marvel announced that they were still moving forward with Wakanda Forever, not canceling it, but at the same time not recasting Black Panther, like they're still gonna let Chadwick Boseman keep his role, even not just replace him and simply kill off T'Challa in the MCU. Of course, it led to some controversy, especially people wondering how are you going to make a Black Panther movie without Black Panther himself. And here's where this movie finally comes into play, where the story is about knowing how to face your losses, especially when it's someone you really love. In this case, it's the fact that since they killed off T'Challa, well, Wakanda has lost its king. Or as the trailers mention, Wakanda has lost its protector. And the movie is about that, about how the world, especially the people of Wakanda, like Shuri, T'Challa's sister, Queen Ramonda, T'Challa's mother, and everyone else related to him, will react to his passing. And now that Queen Ramonda is again the ruler of Wakanda, how is this going to affect the world? Like, what was going to happen to, say, when T'Challa announced that Wakanda was going to share its resources to the world? And of this, how is all of this gonna happen if T'Challa is gone? And this is what the movie's about. And at the same time, it still needs to be built up for something big. That's why they also introduced Namor in the world of Talokan, the underwater civilization. At the same time, introducing character Riri Williams, Ironheart. And here's where the movie really shows how fantastic it is, because as I mentioned, this movie had so much against it. At the same time, the thing is here with Wakanda Forever, it's that the movie had to basically had to be reworked after Chadwick Boseman's passing. They had to start almost completely from scratch, and stuff like Namor was still in the original draft of Wakanda Forever, but now had to rewrite it into the story about loss, about losing someone you love. And I think here's where the movie really hits it hard. Here's where they really know what they're doing. The fact that the movie starts off with killing T'Challa off screen from unknown illness, since Chadwick Boseman passed away from a certain type of cancer, it was just heartbreaking. And the fact that after that, the Marvel Studios logo goes completely silent, gives Chadwick Boseman a minute of silence. And the fact that the Marvel Studios logo is filled with just pictures of T'Challa and Chadwick Boseman just prove that Marvel has deep respect for him. They didn't see Chadwick Boseman as just a prop, just as the character, not just as T'Challa. He saw him as a person. They want to respect that person and the character he played. I think this is why I respect Marvel for doing this. I respect them for not simply recasting Chadwick Boseman and simply doing as if it never happened, or ignore T'Challa as if he never existed. But here it's impossible to simply ignore him. And then comes Namor and the story of Talokan. This is another one of the parts where really things got hard for Wakanda Forever, where they wanted to introduce Namor, the submariner, in the world of Atlantis, but at the same time, they can't really call it Atlantis since, of course, there's Aquaman, and this is one of the first times DC Comics was able to make this idea first before Marvel, this underwater Atlantis civilization. And so Marvel decided to make many changes to the story of Namor, especially casting Tenoch Huerta as Namor. And instead of making this story about Atlantis, they made it about the Mayan civilization and the way that this civilization was lost to time. Like, why did the Mayan culture disappear from the face of the planet? Well, it's more so that they went underwater, and that's where they became Talokan, and how Namor often became their ruler since his mother was human. But after drinking the sort of, I believe, like a water or something like that, that turned all of them into the people of Talokan and made Namor practically a mutant. And that's when I really got hyped for this film. The fact that they called Namor a mutant, and since he is the first Marvel Comics character to be known as a mutant, that really got me excited. And at the same time, I was worried about how are they gonna make Namor now? How are they gonna make this without really involving magic? And I really liked the way that they did it. And I was especially worried when they mentioned in the trailer that his people call him Kukulkan, the feathered serpent god. I was either he's gonna be like a literal god, like the Nordic gods, like Thor and Loki, or was he gonna be like some sort of avatar or a god? But no, he's just a mutant. That's what I really liked about this movie. It really just perfectly cements everything that it needed to, and it's just amazing. This movie was just wow. And I'm spitballing a lot because it's just hard for me to see what's wrong with this movie. I'm just impressed. It's definitely Marvel's best Phase 4 film. It's actually the only Marvel movie, or generally the only 2022 Disney related movie that has had completely well received. And I think here's where Wakanda Forever proves that sometimes the one you expect the least from the one that impresses you the most. And that's why I give Wakanda Forever a 10 out of 10. It's just fantastic. It's officially my favorite movie of 2022. I know it might sound like I'm just glorifying this movie, but I just gotta be honest. I was really impressed. I wasn't sure what to expect from Wakanda Forever. And I know this video is getting kind of messy. It's already 11 minutes long. I tried to shorten it, but I just had so much to talk about in terms of the story and just how I was so amazed with this film, and especially with Disney, the mess that Disney is right now. Like their whole controversies of how people are calling it hypocrites, the fact that the MCU has been so messy, people are finally starting to look at its flaws, and they're starting to say that it's no longer the unbeatable titan it once was, especially with stuff like Miss Marvel and She-Hulk. And I'll be honest, I did sort of lose a bit of interest in the MCU, like not completely, but I tried to watch Miss Marvel. I was really hyped when they announced Miss Marvel, especially when her costume leaked. But with the show, I felt it was really slow. I think the movie would have worked better. And now that Marvel's doing stuff like the special presentations with their werewolf film and the Guardians of the Galaxy holiday special, it just felt like the MCU was really doing too much. And at the same time, Walt Disney and all of their other brands were getting pretty messy as well. Like Walt Disney Animation Super released Strange World, and I'm pretty sure no one who's watching this video has seen this movie. Or if you have, please comment down below if you have seen Strange World. I'm pretty sure you haven't. I'm almost certain that you haven't. No one watching this video has seen Strange World. And what about Lightyear? Well, Pixar's return to theaters was just also a big mess. I also made a video talking about Lightyear, and thank you so much for those 43 views. That's a lot more than I was expecting, so thank you so much for that. And even Star Wars, you've been wondering if Star Wars is becoming a streaming brand and no longer a theatrical brand. And overall, Disney is just having a lot of issues right now. So it's great that at least Wakanda Forever came out great. And that's it for this video. Oh man, this video got long. So that's it for this video. Thank you so much for watching. Please let me know down below if you saw if you liked Wakanda Forever and what's your most anticipated upcoming project. That's it for this video. Thank you so much for watching.